The Cursed Barn. Ethan had always loved spending summers at his grandparents' farm. It was a place of fond childhood memories, playing in the fields, fishing in the nearby pond, and helping with the animals. But as he grew older, he stopped visiting as much. So when his grandfather passed away and left the farm to him, Ethan decided to take a break from his city life and revisit the place he once adored. The farm was exactly as he remembered it, except for one thing: the old barn at the far end of the property seemed darker, more ominous than before. Growing up, he was always told to stay away from it. "It's dangerous," his grandparents would say, but they never explained why. Now, as the new owner, Ethan felt compelled to finally uncover the secret of the old barn. On his first night back, he woke up to the sound of soft, rhythmic knocking echoing across the fields. It was coming from the direction of the barn. Curiosity piqued, he grabbed a flashlight and made his way there. As he approached, the knocking stopped abruptly, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. He tried the door, but it was locked tight, and an overwhelming sense of unease washed over him. He decided to investigate more in the morning. The next day, Ethan asked around town about the barn. The locals exchanged nervous glances before one old man finally spoke up. "That barn has been cursed since before your grandparents bought the place," he said. "They say a man went mad in there years ago, locked himself inside, and never came out. Anyone who tries to enter ends up losing their mind, hearing voices, seeing things that aren't there." Ethan brushed it off as local superstition, but he couldn't shake the feeling of dread that crept up his spine whenever he looked at the barn. That night, the knocking returned, louder and more urgent. Determined to put an end to it, Ethan grabbed the old barn key he found in his grandfather's desk and headed out. The door creaked open, revealing the dim interior, cluttered with old farming tools and broken equipment. The air inside was heavy, stifling, and filled with the scent of mold and decay. As he ventured further in, his flashlight flickered, and he saw something scrawled across the walls in a shaky hand: "He waits. Don't let him out." A chill ran through him. Suddenly, the barn door slammed shut with a force that shook the walls. Panic surged as he turned back, only to see a shadowy figure looming near the entrance. The figure stepped forward, revealing a gaunt, hollow-eyed man, his skin gray and tight over his bones. "I've been waiting," the man rasped, his voice like dry leaves rustling in the wind. Ethan's mind screamed at him to run, but his feet were rooted to the spot. The figure moved closer, its eyes filled with a haunting emptiness. "You shouldn't have come here," it whispered. "Now you're trapped, just like me." In a blind rush, Ethan bolted for the door, throwing it open and sprinting back to the farmhouse. He locked himself inside, his heart pounding as he listened for any signs of pursuit. But the only sound was the deafening silence. The next morning, Ethan packed his bags, leaving the farm and its dark secrets behind. As he drove away, he glanced back one last time. The barn door was open, swinging slightly in the breeze. For a moment, he thought he saw the shadowy figure watching him from the doorway, its hollow eyes following his car as he sped down the road. Ethan never returned to the farm, and the old barn remained as it was, dark, abandoned, and cursed, with the restless spirit of the man who waited for anyone foolish enough to step inside.